So inevitably, after every time a new superhero movie comes out, somebody asks, okay, this is cool. What should I read next? What should I read if I want to keep like my excitement for this movie going? And I'm happy to answer that question, especially for this movie, for Superman. Holy cow, it was fantastic. And there were some comic books that immediately stood out to me. Now, as far as this reading list goes, I'm not going to share any spoilers for the movie until the very last recommendation, which is why I saved it to the end. So you can watch the whole video and not get spoiled. And then if you did see the movie and you're okay with getting spoiled, you can see the last recommendation and be like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat, actually. So, let's hop into it. The first thought I had while watching the Superman movie was, and I was pretty much thinking that the entire time. But the second thought I was thinking pretty much the entire time was, this is just like Superman Birthright. You know how when the Batman released, everyone's like, oh, this is great. Everyone should read Batman Year One because it's kind of the same thing. That's kind of what Birthright feels like to me. Lex Luthor feels like he was pulled directly from that book. All of the themes of like humanity versus your alien heritage that Superman deals with, it's in Birthright and it's done really well there. Themes of doing the right thing even when the whole world doesn't expect you to, or thinks that you're actually going to do really bad things, that is in Birthright. It was almost perfect how it all just fit together. So that's my first number one recommendation. If you like the movie, you want more of the movie, you should read Superman Birthright, which is really easy to do now because DC recently just released it as part of its line of like smaller $10 comics that they're putting everywhere to try and compete with the manga markets a little bit. So yeah, it's way cheap and it's way available. You should pick up that book. You're going to love it. It costs less than the movie ticket did. Just get it, love it, enjoy it, and come back and tell me how much you love that book. My second recommendation after you've seen this movie is to read Superman Earth 1, all 3 volumes, volume 1, 2, and 3. Internally here at Comic Crash, all of the employees, me, refer to this book kind of jokingly as MCU Superman, because it feels like it's supposed to be a big blockbuster movie. The action in the book is ginormous. The spectacle is huge. The art is gorgeous, if not a little bit dark and gritty, which it kind of helps in a way, you know, like it's a world that doesn't believe in goodness and hope. And then you have Superman who does, and he's in this bright costume. It very much ties into the themes of the movie. Especially Volume 3, I found, ties very well to the themes of the movie. And so that's my ultimate recommendation. Read Superman Birthright, and then read Superman Earth 1, 2, and 3. Well, just Earth 1, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. Those two stories combined make up a lot of what this movie was saying, tie in really well. If you like the movie, you want more of the movie specifically, read those books. Now let's say that there are certain elements of the movie that you really like specifically and you want to see more of that. Well, here are some recommendations based off of what parts of the movie you like most. If you really liked how Lex Luthor worked in this movie, then I'm going to have to boldly recommend that you check out Grant Morrison's run on Action Comics from 2011. Lex Luthor feels like he was pulled directly from that very specific story, and it's so cool, so bold. It's right there. You get to see Superman do a lot of things that the movie says he did, but we didn't see on camera. The kind of bold, I'm Superman, I can just do what I want in the name of good kind of attitude. It's there. It's really great. The book was called Superman and the Men of Steel, was the trade paperback copy. That was the title it ran under. I found it used online for about $6. Very simple. Or you can get the omnibus that has a few more stories, also by Grant Morrison, kind of continues on with the reading. And that one is just called Action Comics by Grant Morrison. So pretty simple stuff. Now, if you like the themes of Superman doing good just for good's sake, because it's important to be good, even against opposition, then I'd have to recommend my favorite Superman comic, Superman Unchained. And you see, the story is about Superman wanting to do the right thing and wanting to do good, but all the while, he has this other alien warrior guy from the United States government who's like, oh, I'm only going to be interested in America's thoughts and opinions and interests. I don't care about the rest of the world. And so Superman has to really grapple with that as like, it's not just about one nation, it's a world community. We're all one world, and we got to think about that. And it's really, really pointed. Nothing in this book is wasted or not built up properly. Scott Snyder wrote it, and he's famous for making like really, really great Batman books. He invented the Court of Owls. Death of the Family was his, and Batman Dark Knight's Death Metal. It's great stuff. We highly recommend. Beautiful art by Jim Lee. My favorite Superman book. If you like themes of doing good despite international opinions, read that one. For the same theme of doing good despite international opinions and even government interference, I would also recommend Doomsday Clock, but Doomsday Clock is kind of silly because it requires a lot of homework with it. You got to read Watchmen first, because Doomsday Clock is a direct sequel to Watchmen, and it really builds off of it a lot. You probably should also read DC Rebirth, and DC Rebirth makes a lot more sense when you've read some of the New 52 stuff. So I want to recommend Doomsday Clock a lot, but it requires a bit of homework. So get to that one, but you can hold off for a little bit. So if you liked Superman's struggle between his Kryptonian birthright and his human upbringing, and you also really liked Superman's relationship with Lois Lane in this movie, you gotta read some 90s Superman comics. Start with Superman Exile, and then read through what they call the Triangle Era in the early 90s. This era was really, really great for expanding the Superman mythos. It leads up to the death and return of Superman, so it's going to go to some really, really cool places. But it's like, throughout those stories, Superman's Kryptonian heritage keeps coming up and causing problems for him more than answering questions. Yet at the same time, he uses his new Kryptonian technology at places like the Fortress to help solve a lot of world problems as well. So it's like, how much of this am I supposed to appreciate and how much am I supposed to use? What's the line here? And then also, that was the era where Superman and Lois actually had a real relationship, and they were moving towards something, and it was cool and it was fun. Things were popping, things were happening. Really great stuff for their relationship. So if you liked that aspect where Superman and Lois are kind of dating and it's kind of cute and they're trying to figure things out, while at the same time Superman is trying to figure out what does being an alien mean in a world where I've grown up as a human, that's a great set of stories to be reading. Remember, Superman Exile, and just keep reading from there up through the Triangle Era. That will keep you busy for a long time, and it will be a great time pretty much the whole time. And finally, this is a bit of a spoiler recommendation. So if you made it up to this point and you don't really want any more spoilers or any spoilers at all, go ahead and hop off. I understand. But if you're still here, 3, 2, 1, you should read Superman Supergirl Maelstrom. This is a cool story that I feel like could happen as a very direct sequel to the very end of the Superman movie. You see, like, the Supergirl, she's really moody and she isn't very well behaved, but it's because, she's on her own. She's a teenager who lost her whole world, and she thinks about that all the time. It's painful, and I get it. And Superman gets it too. So in Superman Supergirl Maelstrom, he basically takes her on a fun family camping trip up in space. And both of them are depowered on the planet that they decide to go camping on, and they have to work together to ultimately survive what's going on. And it teaches Supergirl a little bit of a lesson of like who your family is now and how to move past your own trauma a little bit. And Superman gets to be there and do some cool stuff. You rarely ever actually see Superman and Supergirl do things together, which is surprising. You think you would see it all the time, but you really don't. But this book, Superman Supergirl Maelstrom, cool story. Aesthetically, it feels like it fits right in with the Superman movie, and you get to see a little bit of his interaction with Supergirl in a way that I expect it to look like in the future. So, like I said, those are my recommendations now that you've seen the movie and you want to read something Superman more and you want to get kind of the same feeling as the movie. That's what I recommend. Read Superman Birthright They read Superman Earth 1 volumes 1 through 3, and then the specific recommendations I showed off later on. I'd love to hear your recommendations. Go ahead and put them in the comments below. And until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Remember to always be your best self.